Robbery in progress. All cars in the area.
Every day, hundreds of thousands of patrolmen report for duty, armed with a badge and the latest in video technology. You are about to witness their never-before-seen footage, their stories caught on tape. Now, on Disorderly Conduct, a pursuit comes to a crashing halt. An officer comes under fire. A man takes a hit. A woman takes a header. And a DUI suspect has to face some cold, hard facts.
Well, you also struck a refrigerator.
A refrigerator?
Hop on board. Disorderly Conduct is ready to roll.
Give me some backup. I'm gonna need some help get him off the road.
A Georgia trooper has no idea that the driver of this stolen truck has reportedly escaped from an Arkansas jail.
Okay, he's not stopping, Atlanta. I'm gonna have to force him over before he hits somebody.
The officer pursues him down this Marietta, Georgia highway.
Give me some help. Okay, I'm getting him over an emergency lane. Pull over.
He has no plans to pull over anytime soon.
Okay, he's trying to run on me now. He's getting off on the loop.
At full speed, he flies towards this busy intersection.
Okay, he's wrecked. Give me an ambulance down here. Give me an ambulance, Atlanta.
The suspect makes no attempt to even slow down. He hits the grass median, gets airborne, and slams into another motorist. The suspect's trapped in the wreckage of the stolen truck and seriously injured. Fortunately, the occupants of the vehicle he slammed into are not badly hurt. The suspect makes a full recovery and then reportedly faces serious charges, including escape, eluding police, and driving under the influence. In the next 28 seconds, 2 lives will be changed forever. Officer Keith Robinson wants to question the driver of this pickup truck about a road rage incident. The suspect pulls to a stop behind a Florence, Alabama mall. But the guy has no intention of answering any questions. The man shoots 5 times before return fire stops him cold. The suspect is hit in the face, neck, knee, and shoulder, but he can't expect any help from Officer Robinson. The young trooper lays wounded himself and can barely call for backup.
324, I got 1 shot. I got 1 down. I think I'm also hit.
After 2 long minutes, fellow cops converge on the scene.
Gun in the front, gun in the front!
Officer Robinson takes a bullet, but he's one lucky lawman. He's only hit once, and that's in his leg.
First thing he did is bailed out, raised up, and started discharging. I didn't even have time to think.
He's never fired at a suspect before, and he's convinced the man didn't survive.
I think I got him in the chest and in the head, I think. I just shot till he went down.
But despite 4 close-range bullet wounds, the suspect will live to see another day, and that day will be behind bars. Since, as a previously convicted felon, he may get life in prison. As for Officer Robinson, he's back on duty after 3 months. But he'll never forget the first shootout of his career.
Another day, another quarter.
Police pursue a robbery suspect through the streets of Fort Worth, Texas. The man fled after allegedly robbing a fast food restaurant. The chase picks up speed as it hits the freeway, where the suspect tries to dodge the pursuit by cutting off traffic and making a quick left onto an exit ramp. It's a move that will have serious consequences down the road. The suspect loses control, slams into the back of a water truck, and hits a guardrail head-on. But what caused him to lose control? Watch it again closely, and you can see 2 officers to the left of your screen as they throw stop sticks at the fleeing suspect. He sees the sticks and goes right to avoid them. But he can't recover and avoid the truck as it switches lanes in front of him. The result? Impact. The voice of the pursuing cop pretty much tells the whole story in 5 short words. The suspect opens the driver's door and goes to the ground. Cops are on him within seconds. Both he and the man in the truck are not seriously injured. But after this death-defying chase, the suspect is charged with robbery and fleeing. Keep your eyes on the road. More disorderly conduct up ahead with some shocking developments. And bullets fly as a dangerous crew tries to knock over the store.
Over the cameras, the man! Come on, man, please!
Look out! Disorderly conduct is on a rampage. Keep your eye on this young man at a convenience store in Miami, Florida. He's a wannabe criminal mastermind. He's done some work for the owners of the store and they know him. But today, police say he has a plan to rob the place by posing as an innocent bystander while his pals do the dirty work. And it's gonna get dirty.
Get back, no more, get back, get back, get the foot there, get back.
An armed man enters the store with gun drawn and shoots the cashier in the shoulder. The gunman gives the orders, and the man behind the robbery pretends to be a customer following instructions as the wounded cashier shouts off camera. He tries to open up the register and keep his hands up at the same time. In the meantime, he also empties a cigar box of $4,000, and it's back to the register.
Come on, man, please. Over there, over there. Get back. Over there.
Another accomplice gets behind the counter and grabs loot from the shelves. Our mastermind pretends to be afraid for his life as he calls for help from the cashier.
Over the canister, man. Come on, man, please, please.
It's an Oscar-worthy performance.
Please. Come on. Over the canister.
Finally, another one of his crew members has a go at the register. Of course, the brains behind the masterful heist knows that everything is on camera. Under the counter, he finds the store's security VCR and destroys the tape. Only one problem. The VCR is a dummy. The real recording deck is hidden somewhere else. The gunman leaves the store, and now the guy behind the counter becomes a sympathetic friend to the injured cashier.
Oh, you got shot, man? Yeah, man.
He is shocked at the brazen robbery. The cashier goes to the phone to call 911. Behind his back, the crook double-checks the VCR one last time, because the last thing he wants is for all of this to get on tape. That would ruin everything. He may have begun as the mastermind, but he ended up duped by himself. The suspect refused to identify the men who aided him in the plot. As a result, he was charged with everything that went down: armed robbery, grand theft, and attempted murder. All the reward he gets as the worst actor in a leading role. It's about midnight here in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And Officer Brian Miller is about to call it a night. On his way back to the station, he spots a car with a broken taillight. The lawman flips on his lights and plans to give the guy a simple citation. It's not a good sign when the driver first stops, then slowly pulls away. The man at the wheel next leads the 25-year-old officer down a dead-end street. He only travels a few miles an hour down this dark and icy road. Then his door opens, and gunfire erupts. The driver jumps out of his moving car and fires twice at the squad car. Officer Miller returns the favor as the man runs off camera. Bullets fly back and forth with the gunman hiding in a backyard.
Shots fired, people, shots fired.
Finally, the night air is filled with an eerie silence. Even though more than 40 shots were fired, incredibly, both men survive. After being hospitalized for bullet wounds in both arms, the driver is booked for attempted murder. And after being treated for a minor flesh wound, Officer Miller finally gets to go home for the night. Police have surrounded a woman suspected of DUI in Los Angeles, California. The woman allegedly refused to stop, and her tires were spiked. Now cops shoot pepper spray into the car after she refuses to step out. The spray gets her out of the car, but now she's refusing to get on the ground. So they decide to put her on the ground in the most efficient and safe way possible. The woman is hit with the taser and goes down for the count. It was a last resort, but you've got to figure she used up all the options. When spikes and pepper spray don't get the message across, sometimes you have to be a little more shocking. The woman was not injured and reportedly charged with evading and DUI. And you can bet she felt the other charge too. Stick around. Disorderly conduct is armed for action. Two teenage girls on a joyride take a detour onto a highway from hell. And it's a chase at 100+ miles an hour, but the bike still gets the pit. Stay in the seat. More disorderly conduct is on the way. All pursuits are dangerous, but this one is a lot scarier than most. You see, inside that SUV are a couple of girls, and neither one is old enough to be at the wheel. The 15-year-old driver and her 14-year-old passenger lead the LAPD down Southern California streets. Officers suspect the young ladies swiped the SUV for a joyride. But that joy could turn to terror if they keep running signals and stop signs. At one point, the girls take a side trip down the sidewalk to get around that pesky LA traffic. As it gets darker and darker, so do the chances that this will end without injury. Sure enough, the odds catch up at this intersection. The speeding suspects slam into a sedan carrying a mother and her baby. The SUV nearly tips over before finally rolling to a stop. Officers radio for an ambulance and close in on the pair. They want to be sure that girls' night out is truly over. The passenger opens her door and quickly hits the street. The driver needs just a bit more persuasion as she's yanked from the vehicle and taken into custody. It's obvious these two are okay, but what about Mom and her baby? Somehow they escaped serious injury, and the worst of their problems are over. The same can't be said for the teens, who face charges of felony evading and taking a vehicle without the owner's permission. A man on a motorcycle leads police on a high-speed chase through Heath, Ohio. The suspect ran from a traffic stop after he was pulled over for expired tags. Now he forces another motorcycle off the road and hits a straightaway, gunning the bike up to 120 miles an hour. The car, with dash cam rolling, tries to force the bike to a stop. But the suspect finds room and shoots out in front. The cops catch up and box in the bike, but he's revving for another run. A short one. This time, the officer doesn't leave a hole big enough to run through. He applies a little extra pressure, and the bike goes down like a shot. In fact, this maneuver was done so well that the suspect suffered only one injury. And that was a bite from the police dog that took him down off camera. Not bad when you consider the alternative of wiping out at over 100 miles an hour. Sheriff's deputies in Merrill, Wisconsin scramble after a report of a man waving a gun at drivers from his car.
Sheriff 25, do we know what type of gun was it?
And now he's waving at cops as they try to get him to pull over.
He just waved at us and he's continuing.
The deputy responds by getting closer and speaking through the PA system.
Pull your vehicle over.
Not gonna happen. Deputies are gonna try a little more convincing with a roadblock up ahead. But when the suspect sees what's coming up, he decides to turn around and head in the other direction. The suspect takes a sudden left and cuts through the grass median. But he doesn't get far. Deputies box him in on the other side of the freeway.
Get your hands up now! Get your hands up!
Deputies are being extra cautious, knowing that the driver is armed.
Get your hands up! People want to see you! Roll your window down! Roll your window down now! Get your hands out of the car! Further! Get your hands out of the car now!
The suspect is cuffed while he's still in the car. And now he's not waving, he's pleading.
No one's shooting you. Don't move. Nobody will hurt you if you don't move. On the ground.
The suspect is pulled out of the car and into custody. He's booked for fleeing, carrying a concealed weapon, and disorderly conduct. Get your hands away from the remote. Disorderly conduct is in control. A real FLIR cam mystery.
I don't know what that is.
And takedown time in Phoenix as cops pay a house call on armed drug dealers. Look sharp. Disorderly conduct is in the house. Phoenix, Arizona. You're watching the aftermath of a terrible accident that happened in the blink of an eye. So watch closely. This officer just finished writing a routine ticket when his dash cam captures this catastrophe in the background. A black Jeep takes a corner well over the 35-mile-an-hour limit and pays the price. The driver overcorrects the turn, tumbling the SUV off the highway. 4 people, including 2 infants, lie within the smoky wreckage as nearby officers and citizens race to help. 1 passenger suffers a few broken bones and severe lacerations. Luckily, the driver and 2 infants receive only minor injuries. Police in Merritt Island, Florida, search for a suspect with the help of a chopper and a FLIR camera.
Adam, right off your nose. Right off your nose. Right in there, right next to you guys. On your right-hand side, about 15 feet from you.
The pilot directs 2 officers on the ground with a police dog, searching in the dark for a young man who was trespassing in a nearby skate park. The FLIR picks up a heat-radiating object right next to them, but the officers are still having trouble finding it.
Right arm. Go to your right. Turn to your right. There you go. Straight ahead. There's something right near you guys, like with it right on top of it almost.
The officers head straight for the target, but the mystery remains.
Do we pass it?
Just pull out of there for me. Y'all back out and let me re-guide you.
Everyone is baffled. What is the heat-producing object? And how come officers on the ground can't find it when they are nearly on top of it?
This would be right about the area you would be.
I can't see you guys in there right now, but I've got something really hot that was right near you guys. I don't know what that is. It looks pretty good, though.
The officers and the dog pull back to a clearing while the chopper circles for a better look.
Put your arm straight out. Okay, straight in front of you, 10 feet in. But you got something definitely as hot as you guys right down in there.
They go in again.
Stop. You gotta go to the right. He's right there. Look at the trees. Look up above you.
And now it becomes clear. The object is in fact the suspect, and he's sitting in a tree. But not for long.
All right, there's 10-12.
Yeah, well, he was up high.
That's why I said look up.
The suspect is cuffed and led to a patrol car.
They're coming out now.
As once again, the FLIR finds its man. In Phoenix, Arizona, members of a police special operations unit prepare to serve a drug search warrant at the home of a suspected drug dealer. Nobody's kidding themselves. Anything can happen on a raid like this.
Listen, it's gonna be real dynamic on this one, guys. Put him down fast and put him down hard, okay? Let's go, 1, 2, 3, go!
Make sure you're all safe, locked and loaded, guys.
One team member wears a helmet cam. He will be one of the first in the door. And it's on.
Right there. In the car. Put on your hands.
A suspect in a car outside the front door is covered at gunpoint. It's an unexpected development, but the mission moves ahead like clockwork. As the front door is breached, a male suspect is quickly taken down. A woman lying on a bed freezes with her hands up, but only inches from her head under a pillow.
Got a gun. Keep your hands up.
It's a 9mm handgun loaded. Nearby, the team also recovers a shotgun.
Shotgun's over in the corner.
The man in the car outside, a possible buyer, is taken into custody. The apartment is secured. And the suspects are charged with possession and sale of narcotics. It all went down in a matter of seconds, but thanks to weeks of preparation and lots of training, the raid is a total success. Without a single shot fired.
Got a gun.
Step back! Disorderly conduct is breaking it down. A female cop gets a 5-second ride of terror. And they're armed, they're masked, and they're looking for cash. Scream! Disorderly conduct will be right back. Officer Brenda Bermudez pulls over a station wagon for speeding in Austin, Texas. The car, with 2 men inside, also fits the description of a stolen vehicle, and she's not taking any chances.
All right, let me see the other hand.
The suspect is recently out of prison, and Officer Bermudez knows him from previous encounters on the street.
You have no weapons?
No, I don't got no weapon.
Okay.
The suspect says the car belongs to his mother, but the officer still has her suspicions.
Whose car is it?
She puts in a call for backup.
Send me my 75. It's the vehicle that was missing earlier.
It's missing earlier.
It is the 2410.
It's missing earlier? What do you mean missing earlier?
Fearing that the suspect may be going for a weapon, Officer Bermudez reaches in and tries to restrain him.
I ain't doing that to you. Loosen your arm. Okay.
Why are you doing this to me, man?
I want you to stay where you're at.
And that's when the suspect puts the car into drive. The officer cannot get free of the car as the suspect guns it over the curb. Around the corner, she is dragged 15 feet and falls as both legs are run over by the car. Another female officer arriving on the scene calls for help and runs to aid Officer Bermudez. She's in a lot of pain. An ambulance is on the scene in minutes. While across the lot, officers catch the suspect who tries to flee on foot.
You have no weapon?
No, I don't got no weapon.
Officer Bermudez was treated for her injuries and returned to duty months after the incident.
I ain't doing that to you.
Look in your arm. Okay.
Why are you doing this to me, man?
I want you to stay where you're at.
The suspect was charged with aggravated assault and later sentenced to 20 years in prison. It's late at night and all is quiet inside this Florida fast food restaurant. But for the employees here, the serene is about to become surreal. 4 armed men suddenly march in. One heads to the right while the other 3 cruise by the counter. Stunned workers are ordered to the floor. It's obvious these guys did their homework and all have been assigned a job. The suspect with the white t-shirt over his head goes right for the kitchen area, while his partners are in charge of the cashiers. And yes, this character is wearing a scream mask. A kitchen cam picks up the action as t-shirt guy makes sure everyone knows he means business. The 4th man can be seen headed for the backroom safe. Next, we see the suspect headed for the safe with a bag in hand. Yet another camera rolls as the man interrupts a woman counting the night's receipts. Meanwhile, out front, the cashiers get their pockets picked by one of the greedy gunmen. While this is going down, the lady back at the safe hands over the big bucks. Finally, after 3.5 minutes, the quick quartet calls it quits. They get away with about $2,000 in cash. But they leave behind these images on tape that hopefully will get them captured. Shoplifters, beware! Your kind isn't welcome in Gaffney, South Carolina. That lesson is being learned the hard way tonight by a couple suspected of swiping some fishing gear. The chase races through the backwoods of this community on the northern tip of the state. By the time it hits the interstate, it seems half of the tiny town's police force is on the hunt. Officers decide this is a good time to close in on the man and woman. They're boxed in. They're bumped. But they're able to bust out. Soon after the driver exits toward town, his heavily damaged car narrowly avoids a pit maneuver. A mile down the road, it's time for take 2. This time, the officer connects. But once again, they get away. Before long, the pursuit is back up on the interstate, and just about everybody has had enough of this persistent pair. A lot of manpower has been invested, and it's time for these out-of-towners to be shown to a local jail cell. A cruiser pulls in front of the suspects and forces them to slow down. The tactic works, and finally the suspects are forced to stop for good. The deputy lets his gun do the talking in case there are any questions. The man is removed from the driver's seat while his female passenger receives a similar greeting off camera. The pair are reportedly charged with failure to stop, assault with a deadly weapon, and yes, shoplifting. One of the largest pursuits in this town's history is over after the suspected fishing gear thieves are finally caught. Hook, line, and sinker. Just seconds away on disorderly conduct, a runaway car, and a very rude refrigerator.
That refrigerator shouldn't be on the side of the road, officer.
Well, it's you that shouldn't be on the side of the road.
Chill out.
I can do this.
There's more disorderly conduct coming right up. It all began when a Wichita, Texas officer spotted a man relieving himself on the side of the road. When the patrolman tried to question the guy, he jumped in his car and sped off. The driver and his passenger quickly distanced themselves from the pursuing officer. A check on the suspect's license plate shows the car is stolen. Here, it looks like somebody wants out.
Got one thing to bail out.
Before long, the Dodge cuts into this apartment complex. The driver bails, leaving the rolling car and his passenger behind. The car then hits another vehicle. The passenger gets out while the SUV's driver pulls away from the action. The officer moves in on the passenger as the driverless car keeps on rolling. The passenger is smart enough to stay put and is quickly taken into custody. The car's driver is later captured and charged with felony evading arrest and unauthorized use of a motor vehicle. As for the rolling car, fortunately, it doesn't hit anything else and rolls to a safe stop. Police are in a slow-speed chase through a shopping mall parking lot in Woodstock, Georgia. They got a call about a suspicious vehicle, and now they're driving in circles trying to pull it over. It's the last place you'd expect a chase, but the suspect seems to like it. At one point, an officer on foot confronts him and almost gets run over for his trouble. The chase stays in the parking lot, but now the suspect is picking up speed. Running at close to 40 miles an hour. The odds of an innocent shopper getting hit are too great. When the lead officer sees his chance to take the suspect out, he goes for it. The officer chooses a safe open spot and pits the suspect into a 180. Then follows up by pushing the car onto the grass and out of commission. In seconds, the suspect is held at gunpoint and arrested. He was reportedly charged with fleeing and felony aggravated assault for nearly running over that officer. All of it could have been avoided with the suspect answering a few questions and going home, but he never made it out of the parking lot. Officers in Fort Myers, Florida, confront a suspected DUI who seems to have hit something on the side of the road.
I completed the crash investigation. I found that you're at fault in the crash, okay?
Why, I was in the ditch.
Well, you also struck a refrigerator.
A refrigerator?
You heard it right, but she didn't.
That refrigerator shouldn't be on the side of the road, officer.
No, actually, the refrigerator is perfectly fine being on the side of the road. It's you that shouldn't be on the side of the road.
She has a few questions of her own.
why don't you go through my purse?
Well, at this point, I don't need to go through your purse, okay?
You see my everything.
I don't need to look at it. I just need you to put your purse
How do
down
you know
for
I
me.
don't have drugs?
Do you have any drugs?
How do you know I'm not a crack dealer?
Are you?
No.
Then she launches into a self-administered sobriety test.
Could you get off the ground, please?
Oh, look, I can do this. I can do this. What else?
Ma'am, could you get off the ground?
Me to do.
Now the officer has a few questions.
Okay. Are you a diabetic or epileptic?
No.
Do you take insulin for any reason?
No, I'm a horse trainer.
Do you have any problems with your balance on a normal basis? Do you just fall over for no reason?
No, but I think I'd like to now.
Are you willing to do some field sobriety exercises for me?
Yeah.
It's time to get to work.
Just keep your head still and follow with your eyes, all right? Ma'am, I need you to look at my finger.
At the finger? Okay.
Yeah. All right, right?
Hello, I'm doing it.
Ma'am, I told you to put your hand immediately down to your side. Keep your eyes closed. Why don't you come back about here, and I want you to face my truck. Ma'am, stop.
The results are predictable.
Okay, ma'am, you're under arrest for DUI.
If only it wasn't for that darn refrigerator.
A refrigerator?
Hey, have you been drinking?
No.
You haven't had anything to drink? Ma'am, stay over here. Ma'am.
Sunday.